Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio. In this segment, we're going to be having a conversation with returning guest Nelson Ambrogio. He's joining us here as Senior Vice President and General Manager Oncology, Bayer Pharmaceuticals US. He's returning to discuss the FDA's approval of NUBEQA. Welcome back, Nelson. How have you been?
Thank you very much, Neil. Really happy to be here with you again.
Well, of course, I mentioned that you're Senior Vice President, General Manager there, Oncology at Bayer Pharmaceuticals US. Give our listeners who aren't familiar with you as a contributor a little bit of a professional background, and then let's talk about this FDA approval of NUBEQA.
Sure. Look, in my role as General Manager and Senior Vice President of the Bayer Oncology unit in the United States, I am essentially responsible for the portfolio of cancer treatments of our company. In other words, my team and I work together to bring new cancer treatments to the market and to partner with healthcare professionals and other organizations so that more patients can benefit from the appropriate treatments.
Now, as I mentioned, the FDA recently approved NUBEQA as a new treatment option for people that are living with an advanced form of prostate cancer. Tell us what this advanced form of prostate cancer is, who's impacted, and why is this FDA approval of NUBEQA important?
Yes, Neil, that is exactly right. The FDA approved last month a new indication of our prostate cancer treatment, NUBEQA. This treatment was already approved for the non-metastatic space, meaning for prostate cancer that has not yet spread to other parts of the body, and now it received the approval for the metastatic stage when the cancer has already spread to other parts of the body. And this is important because each year, approximately 40 to 50,000 Americans are diagnosed with metastatic hormone-sensitive prostate cancer, which is the indication for which NUBEQA was approved very recently.
Which trial was it that prompted seeking approval from the FDA for NUBEQA in this new form or this different form of cancer?
Yep. So the phase 3 ARASCENT trial demonstrated a significantly increase in overall survival with a 32.5 reduction in the risk of death with NUBEQA plus androgen deprivation therapy and docetaxel. This compared to androgen deprivation therapy plus docetaxel and with no significant difference in adverse events. So what is important for patients as well is that NUBEQA has the potential to be a foundational treatment for appropriate patients, having now indications both in the non-metastatic castration-resistant and in the metastatic hormone-sensitive prostate cancer.
Does a patient have to have failed all other approaches, or is this something that can be used as an initial approach once proper diagnosis is made?
Yeah, well, we know that up to 1/3 of patients with prostate cancer will be developing metastatic disease. And the incidence of metastatic hormone-sensitive prostate cancer has been increasing in the United States. It has actually increased by 72% over the past 10 years. Therefore, developing new therapies for the different stages of cancer, and in this case, in particular, of metastatic hormone-sensitive prostate cancer, is extremely important to support more patients and their families.
So what do you think is next for NUBEQA now that this approval has been made?
Well, Neil, we have a broad development program for NUBEQA underway, and it is currently being investigated in further clinical studies across various stages of prostate cancer. So NUBEQA has really the potential to becoming a foundational therapy for patients with prostate cancer.
Is there any additional impact that you think this new approval will have as far as physicians recommending NUBEQA?
Yeah, so look, prostate cancer remains the second leading cancer-related cause of death among men in the United States. And this year alone, there will be about 270,000 new cases of prostate cancer diagnosed in the U.S. Therefore, we are particularly proud to bring a new therapy that can help more patients in an area where there's still so much unmet need and where we can help healthcare providers as well with a new tool that they can use in their practice.
Was there anything that you'd like to add for our listeners?
Just to finalize, maybe that our investments in NUBEQA and in oncology overall emphasize our ongoing commitment to addressing unmet medical needs in cancer treatment. When it comes to prostate cancer in particular, we are also exploring additional radiotherapeutic options that can benefit even more patients. And for anyone interested in hearing more or knowing more about NUBEQA, there's a website that they can visit, nubeqa.com. That's NUBEQA.com.
Now, when we were here before, we did talk a little bit about your being a Boston Marathon charity runner. Talk briefly about your involvement in that.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that, Neil. It was really a very special phase and moment as well. I decided to join the Target Cancer Foundation as a charity runner in the 2022 Boston Marathon to support the efforts of this organization in finding new treatments and in research for rare cancers. And the reason why I joined that initiative was because my brother, Daniel, was diagnosed with a rare cancer with cholangiocarcinoma and passed very shortly after diagnosis. So there's also a significant unmet need in the rare cancer space. I feel also personally connected to that. And that's why I decided to run as a charity runner for them.
Well, I bring that up because it's inspiring, and I appreciate your advocacy, your work, and I want others to understand how important this is to you as well, especially as you work there at Bayer.
Thank you very much, Neil, for that. And cancer care and advancing cancer care requires a true multidisciplinary approach with different and multiple stakeholders working together. And we are glad at Bayer to be able to contribute to the advances in helping people with cancer with their treatments.
Nelson, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for returning here on Health Professional Radio. Looking forward to our next conversation.
It was great talking to you, Neil. Thank you very much again.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with returning guest Nelson Ambrogio. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.